You're welcome back. We now go to South Africa, and we're looking at the decision by the African National Congress to suspend the Secretary General Ace Magashule after being charged with embezzling public funds while he was Premier of the Free State Province. However, the Secretary General has refused to comply with his suspension and has denied charges. What will this mean for the future of ANC? What will it mean for the fight against corruption? And what will it mean for the outlook of the economy? Matt Kindiga, an associate practice lead for Sub-Saharan Africa at FrontView, joins us to provide answers to this. Hello, Matt. Good afternoon. Thank you for joining us.
Hello, good afternoon. Thank you for having me on the show today.
Yeah, so what does this dispute between Ace Magashule reveal about the state of ANC?
So yes, it's a really interesting development, and this is mainly because it illustrates the sort of ongoing power struggle between pro-Zuma and pro-Ramaphosa factions within the ruling ANC party in South Africa. So as we know, Mr. Ramaphosa was elected as president of the ANC and of the country in 2017 with a razor-thin margin. But there was a lot of optimism around his ability to change the way the country was governed. But since then, because his support base his victory was so thin, he's really struggled to forge a path between maintaining support from pro-Zuma camps and pushing ahead with pro-business policies and more liberal policies that he intended to bring forwards when he became president. So this recent development is quite a victory for Mr. Ramaphosa and his supporters. It does mean that he probably can push ahead with some more difficult anti-corruption initiatives. And it really represents a bit of a key moment for the ANC as well, because it looks like things may be tipping in Mr. Ramaphosa's favor for the time being.
Yeah, well, like you mentioned, the fight against corruption is a major discussion coming from this. So have the president for some time now, the allegations of worsening corruption in the country have been present. What does this represent, or does it represent a turning point for governance standards in the country?
So broadly, I would say yes, it probably does represent some kind of turning point for the country overall. So just last week, Mr. Ramaphosa admitted that the ANC presided over almost a decade of systematic looting of state-owned organizations and state-owned enterprises and government organizations and departments. And so I think the signals are now becoming apparent, or the signals are showing that we are seeing a bit of a shift in the government's priorities towards more anti-corruption initiatives. But it's also worth noting the scale of the problem in South Africa. So South Africa needs a very large range of pro-business policies to be implemented in order to kickstart the economy. It needs a top-down approach to tackling corruption and cleaning up the way government departments are run. And this will involve ruffling a lot of feathers, upsetting a lot of people in power. And so we expect this process to be quite painfully slow and take a very long time. So in summary, yes, it's a positive development, but we think things are going to move very, very slowly in terms of tackling corruption and improving governance.
So, but what does it mean for businesses in South Africa at this time?
Yes, so I mean, not a lot in the short term. It probably will support investor sentiment in the longer term, but really we need to see faster action from the president in terms of consolidating his improved power base, implementing more pro-business policies, tackling meaningful steps in tackling corruption. But businesses will still have to be contending with other issues at the moment. So that includes power shortages, a very depressed tourism sector, very weak public finances. And so these things will really counter the sort of positive effects of these recent developments within the ANC.
All right. Thank you so much, Matt, for sharing your thoughts with us on happenings in South Africa. Enjoy your weekend. Matt Kindiga is Associate Practice Lead, SSA, in FrontView.